We know about Koraidon and we know about Miraidon, but what about the third legendary? The one that's responsible for the terrestrial mechanic in the Paldea region? Well, let me tell you, we've got a lot of leaks about DLC and a third legendary. Let's take a look. Okay, so the data miners and the leakers have found a ton of information in the game files indicating DLC coming next year. And you might be like, well, that seems so far away, the game's not even out yet. Well, I looked back, and when Sword and Shield announced their DLC, it was actually in the beginning of January of that year. So we're really not that far away from that potential announcement, but the game files have left behind many things that are not only pointing towards DLC, but basically blatantly calling it out. And we're gonna cover all of that in this video today. I am going to be mindful of showing full images though, for the purposes of trying to not have my videos taken down by the Nintendo ninjas, so bear with me on that, but I'll have the sources in the description below if you guys want to take a deeper dive. And before I dive into all that, I have to tell you guys that my brand new collectible card game, Alestrals, just dropped today on Kickstarter. If you haven't heard, I spent my entire year pouring my heart and soul into this project to create my own monster franchise called Alestrals. You can see we've gone the extra mile to create something truly special and amazing, and right now you can back us on Kickstarter and get the Founders Edition of Alestrals, and that's the only time we're ever gonna print the Founders Edition of Alestrals. So if you're interested, be sure to check the description below and back us on Kickstarter today. You do not want to miss out on being at the ground level of Alestrals. Seriously, this is an incredible opportunity. Like I said, we have gone so hard on this. It's incredible. I'm sure you guys are gonna love it. Check it out in the description below and support Alestrals today on Kickstarter. All right, so going back a few days ago, the Riddler posted this image, and it is of a giant egg with a crown on it, and then some kind of hexagonal, different images and different stuff like that, as well as planets and kind of, you know, you've got different planets kind of circling around it, and this almost big explosion type of thing going on. And a lot of people were like, I wonder what this is. And it turns out that this is actually a page from the book that Arvin carries around that talks about the different paradox forms. And we have like a translated version of it, and I'll try to read it the best I can. While separated from the research team in the creator's depths, I found a strange entity. Whether it was Okimo or even alive at all, I know not. It bore shell layers of overlapping hexagon and gleamed brighter than a gemstone. Veiled as a whole, it resembled a mysterious brilliant disc, something like that, right? So we have a general idea of this, and this is apparently a hint at the third legendary. Now, if you ever noticed, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the Paldea region, those terrestrial hats have a little kind of face on their little hats, like the little gemstone here almost has eyes on it, and a lot of people have speculated that that actually points to the third legendary. And it seems as though that is going to be something that is put behind DLC. That is very much so the case. And what's crazy is Polvo here actually calls out that this egg, or this kind of icon that's in this book, actually is very reminiscent of the flag of the United Kingdom of Portugal and Brazil, which is dissolved since then. But it seems as though this is actually a flag, so maybe it's based on that, especially since we know that the Paldea region is based on Spain and kind of Portugal, right? From there, to take it even a step further, which is crazy, is Ash just won the Pokemon League, and there was a scene that says to be continued, and then behind him there's a painting on the wall that actually has this glowing ball that very much so could be the third legendary that we see in these images from the Riddler and from the guidebook, or from like kind of Arvin's little book. So it does seem that there's a tie-in from the anime to this, and I think that what that's gonna be is that in the next series of the anime, he's gonna be able to terrestrialize, right? It would only make sense that the anime would follow kind of what he's doing in terms of, you know, the main series games. That's how it normally works. So I think that there could be a tie-in with the third legendary, the DLC, and the anime all at once going together, and that's how Ash is gonna be able to access the terrestrial mechanic. There's still a lot of questions regarding this egg thing. If you look at it closely, there might actually be like some sort of a serpent at the top. It's a little hard to tell exactly what's going on here, but nonetheless, this does seem to point towards our third legendary. So keep an eye out, because I think that that's what the DLC is going to uncover. And from there, we actually have two new legendary Pokemon that are leaked in the game files for the DLC, and they're two new paradox forms. The first of these paradox forms is a Paradox Virizion, which actually takes a lot of the highlights from the different Musketeer trio, Virizion, Cobalion, and Terrakion, and kind of fuses them together to create this new Pokemon. We've got Ryan Cortez draws here with a fan art image of it, and we'll probably blur it for you guys, but it does look pretty epic, and it does fuse them together. So Paradox Virizion apparently set for DLC next year. And to take it another step further, Paradox Suicune is another one that was leaked, and it very much so reminisces Raikou, Entei, and Suicune all in one as well. So I think we have something really cool here with both Paradox Virizion and Paradox Suicune coming to DLC in the future. We also have some text from the book as well that says, a mythical Pokemon draw by members of the observation team responsible for sketching. Pokemon that reside below the middle layer of Area 0 are unusually huge and aggressive. Apparently the sketch was using traits above as a basis. combined with the observation team's speculation of what a mythical Pokemon in Area Zero would look like if it exists. So again, they're kind of teasing at what this could be. Obviously, the new Paradox Suicune, the new Paradox Virizion coming to DLC next year, which is very exciting stuff. And last but certainly not least, yesterday we got a leak that there was 2 new images that were found in the game code. You've got this like red rock and then this kind of more futuristic purple rock, which ties directly into Scarlet and Violet. Now, what do these icons or rocks actually mean? I don't know, but at the current time, they're unusable in the game and you can't actually function with them, but they were found in the coding. So again, another hint towards DLC and another sign pointing towards the fact that we are gonna get some DLC. Now, what are these 2 mysterious items? Are they something that changed the forms of Koraidon and Miraidon? Are they something that changed the forms of the new legendary, 3rd legendary Pokemon that we kind of talked about, this big egg thing? Or are they something totally different? Like, we know DLCs can introduce all sorts of stuff. We got Gigantamax Soup, we got different items like ability patches, all sorts of stuff. So the possibilities are really endless in terms of what these different items can do, but it's really exciting to think about the fact that we're at the cusp of this game coming out and they're already gonna have awesome DLCs coming out next year, expecting 2 DLCs, much like they did with the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor. One other thing that's worth mentioning is if you actually look at the Paldea map in-game, which I'm not gonna show right now, there's some cutout lines on the side of the map, and those are basically indicated of DLC. Like, you can stand at a peak of one spot, like on the top of a mountain, and look out, and you can see that there's definitely land formed over there, and I think that we're gonna open that up, we're gonna be able to travel over there, and ultimately have DLC. And then there's the opportunity of a potential Kalos DLC, which might be a little on the far-fetched side of things, but definitely a possibility, especially since we know the connection between Spain and France and how they could have some sort of connection with different train stations or whatever it may be, leading us back to Kalos to kind of explore that a little bit further, where Mega Evolution was born, which, by the way, there's some references to Mega Evolution in Scarlet and Violet through some of the Paradox forms like Paradox, Salamence, Roaring Moon. So a lot of interesting pieces to connect here for an upcoming DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I, for one, am very excited. I can't emphasize enough how awesome this is and how awesome the Project Elestrals is, so please, take a second of your day and head over to our Kickstarter page and check it out. I'm sure you're gonna be blown away. We poured our heart and soul into this. I've dedicated my entire year to building this project, and I'm so proud of where we're at. If you wanna back us on Kickstarter, I would sincerely appreciate it. We've got an incredible card game that's friendly for people who have never played card games before or veterans alike, and we're building the next big monster franchise. The card game is just the beginning, so back us on Kickstarter today with the link in the description and tell your friends about Elestrals. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you guys soon.
From the highest peaks to the darkest forest and the deepest oceans, discover the enchanted mythical creatures known as Elestrals. Wield the power of the gods and elemental spirits, clash for victory, ascend to immortality. Elestrals card game, available now on Kickstarter.